reality, but tonight I drink with Evans and our finest glass for me. In my astral body of silence and surrender, and screaming for this madness and suspicious terror built to death up in my life. Who's got the silver pillars after 20 years of fighting young heretics and killers? I watch my temple fall to pieces when I fight I fell to my knees just like pieces of the cake, pieces of the cake, pieces of the cake. I would die if my lips could only say I'm not your son, so why have you forsaken me? Crucified that night, and I walked away with alter egos. Prison priests who preach us instead of very gospel. With my faith in ruins, my duty still be strong. I'm buried in a cage, now singing prayers to be loved. Textbook of a crying, lying, dying history. Textbook of a crying, lying, dying history. Textbook of my crying. A textbook of my lying. A textbook of my dying. A textbook of my history. Welcome, welcome. I wasn't sure if this guitar was in tune. I started singing the notes before I even looked at the guitar, so it was totally bad. Anyway. Hello. And welcome back. Do I need to fucking say the name? I think I'm gonna stop saying the name of the podcast. Cause if you're listening to it, you know what the fuck the name is, right? Okay. Welcome back. It's been a minute. I need to get near the microphone. Yeah, I'm still in shock from my last fucking podcast. Talk to Rudy Sarzo. God damn, man, that was such a cool fucking thing. That wouldn't have happened if I didn't fucking know Joey Diaz. And a lot of the shit that happens to me right now wouldn't happen if I didn't know Joey Diaz, and I'm a lucky fuck. And in the future, I'm probably going to be a little embarrassed that I chose to curse. I don't know. Maybe that's something that my dumbass future self would think or ponder. But for now, I'm going to fucking say what I want to fucking say. It's been a wonderful week. I haven't had a migraine since Friday. I mean, my head's hurt since then, but it hasn't been a migraine. I had a migraine fucking Wednesday morning. Talked to Rudy Sarzo Wednesday night. And then it didn't go away until after I got some medication from the doctor.
Friday afternoon. I mean, hours after that, but that's when I went to the doctor. Need to get that shit checked out. Should not be having migraines. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for paying attention to my rambling. And welcome to episode number 58. That is another thing that I need to stop fucking saying. Welcome to episode number whatever of this fucking podcast. Now that I think about it, I don't know why I ever said that. Probably because I just didn't know what to say in the beginning. I talked to myself like I'm doing right now, but the entire podcast was just solo. But luckily now I get to talk to people that want to talk to me. Kinda. I mean, I am lucky. I am a lucky motherfucker. A lot of the people that I talk to wouldn't even look in my direction if I didn't have certain connections. But it is what it is. That's how fucking life is. I'm just going to appreciate the fuck out of my luck. And that's it. This episode. I feel like I'm in a fucking backseat of a police car with Chris Farley. It's a very cool one. I had my guest on previously about a year and a half ago, and he just fucking kicked my ass with information, and it was awesome. But yeah, he told me to let you know that if you were in Utah and you wanted to go on a hike, that you should definitely go to moabhiking.com. Now, Moab is just one spot in Utah, but fuck all the other spots. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I like the rest of Utah. I've never been to any part of Utah. If somebody wants to fly me the shit out there, I'll check it out and I won't talk shit. But anywhere besides Moab, fuck them. Even if you're going on a long trail, and you start out in Moab, and you end up somewhere else, say Baphomet. Fuck that place too. Just stay in Moab, because Moab is where it's at. No, seriously. My good friend Micah Hatcher is the owner and the main hiker taker with her. HT Dubs, I like to call him. There's another set of words that goes with that acronym, but we'll not get into that. But use code word 1by1 for a discount. I forget exactly what the discount is. The price. But the price is nice either way. That's moabhiking.com. Code word 1by1. They filmed Westworld there. You're fucking stupid if you go anywhere else. That's it. That's it, and that's that. Ladies and gents, this guy is the shit, okay? I don't know why I automatically I said and it sounded like butthead, so I just went into the laugh. I apologize. No, for reals. My guest today is the lead designer over at Drastic Graphics. And if you don't know, you probably know his work. And if you really don't know now, you will, because you'll fucking look for it. He's worked with some of the greats, man. Still does. Fighter and the Kid, Brian Callen, Brendan Schaub, Joe Rogan. I mean, what the fuck? Theo Von? Really? Seriously? Mike Dolce? He's the shit. He's a huge inspiration to me. If you want to go back to the original episode that we first had in the beginning, I think it was like 27 or something like that. Go back and listen to it, because he gave me a lot of information. If you're a fucking guy that likes doing design on the side and you possibly might have a baby coming, he's got a lot of fucking information on that one podcast on how to deal with it, and I put that shit to use, and it worked. And this episode was fucking, I mean, not only did I get more information, but he's got a lot more shit to offer. He's got the smartsetupguide.com and his business building 101 online course that he offers now, that I'm gonna fucking take, because I need video. I need 1x1 needs video. It's overdue. But I also need to learn how to do that. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for my friend. I can call him my fucking friend, man. We've talked for over 2 hours now, straight, about deep shit too, you know? It's not like just what's the score of the ball game last night? I don't know. No. We don't talk about balls, all right? Once in a while, it's all right to talk about balls, especially if they got a little hair on them. But it just didn't happen in this episode, and I apologize. I just want to let you know up front, give you a forewarning.
No big up all gunman, sing. Big up. Call this a 94 when I rap to kill people and do blood. Now I pussy hole on the corner. Watch this. Lord, me all a respect to all the gunman them.
Hey, Mike, can you hear me?
Yo, man.
How are you?
Good, dude. You hear me all right?
Yeah. Sound great.
Cool, man. It's I don't know. I've got it down to a rhythm lately, dude. I have like levels all fucking like whatever, like Skype. I know what fucking put where to put the dial. You know what I'm saying? So, how the fuck you been, man?
Man, it's been great. You know, I was just looking back. I was trying to figure out when it was that we spoke last, and I was looking back and just kind of thinking like so much has happened since then.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm glad to speak with you again now, coming into the new year. I've had a lot of kind of really exciting things transpire over the past couple days and weeks, and
yeah, I've been watching, dude. That's a big reason why I wanted to talk to you too. Besides the fact that it has been like a year and a half, almost 2 years since we fucking talked, and a lot's gone down, dude.
yeah, I love that, because you know, you can kind of, it sets a precedence where you can kind of look back and hold yourself accountable. Like, you know, this is what I was talking about. Now 2 years later, you know, where am I at with it?
Yeah. It's a crazy world, man. It's moving fast too. Like, you know, you're in the game. You fucking know what I'm talking about, man. It's just like it's constant, you know. And the last time we talked, man, like, I really seriously, I wanted to thank you, because you fucking, You inspired the fucking shit out of me. Like, it was right before the baby was about to come. You know,
Sure.
now he's a
Yeah.
year and a half old, dude. It's
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. That's incredible. Congratulations.
thanks, man. It's been a fucking ride, and it's
Mhm.
still a ride, but it's awesome, and
hmm
everything that you fucking said was true. It's
Mhm.
fucking nuts, you know.
hmm Yeah, well, it's really predictable, and since then I've gone through it again too. We had our third child.
Yeah, congratulations, man. That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, it's great, and it puts you out of your element, and you have to figure out like, okay, all these plans that I have for me and my business, like how am I going to do it now? A, on no sleep, and B, with a kid in my hand. So,
Yeah. Well, I took notes. I definitely took notes when we talked last, and
mhm.
I fucking I adapted those notes and put that shit into practice,
Great.
man.
Great. I'm glad it could help because I'm still, I feel like even back when we spoke last, I was so undisciplined and so naive to a lot of things, and even just up until recently, really feeling like I've been getting my own shit together. So it's good to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, you sounded like you knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, we started pretty early. I'm about a decade in or more to this dad thing, so I should have a couple tips.
Yeah, you definitely did, dude. Fucking, it helped out dramatically, man. But yeah, it's crazy the no sleep thing. I was kind of like holding on to that one, like maybe he's wrong about that, like.
Mhm.
But no,
Yeah,
you're fucking
yeah.
totally right.
It's a thing. It's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really about, and I have no idea how single parents do it because the only way that we are able to make it happen is to kind of come to an understanding on shifts and
Yeah.
then certain days. And, I found my greatest asset just in life in general, I feel like, and right up until the past few months, I really wasn't doing it. And it's at least trying to find a steady sleep routine. And for me, it was like it was so hard because late at night's the only time I can get some peace and quiet. So to
Yeah.
fight against that is counterintuitive. And I just wasn't sleeping for years. It was just essentially just naps. So now, like, I've really committed to the discipline of being asleep before midnight, being up at 6, and then before I can even think about it, as soon as depending on the baby and everything, just getting up, getting to the gym, getting back and getting it going. I find like how Jocko says, like your true freedom is in your ability to implement discipline in your daily routine. And the more I dig into that, I feel like the more positive things come my way.
Yeah, for sure, dude. That is actually the very next thing on both of our goals is goal boards, whatever the fuck you call
Sure.
it, is
Mhm.
getting. We want to start out slow because we're definitely out of shape. I'm totally out of shape, even though I'm not not like overweight or anything, but I'm just like not. If I bend
Yeah.
over the wrong way, my head gets all like dizzy and shit.
Yeah, I hear
But
that.
like we're about to get a whatchamacallit, one of those elliptical machines. So
Nice. Yeah,
you
those
know,
things are great.
gonna try and work
Yeah.
that into the whole schedule thing, which is crazy because like you said, like the only way that this shit really does work is like with my girl's help. Like I could not do this fucking without her, even if we didn't have the baby. Like I'd still be spending a lot of time not with
Yeah,
her,
seriously.
not paying attention to her.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily I
Yeah.
get to do a lot of this shit still at work, like in between breaks, and I listen to a lot of the podcasts that I have to listen to now at work.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
gives me something to do. I don't know. I'm still working towards the day job, kicking the fucking can thing, but
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things. And since we spoke, probably about 6 months after we spoke last, I parted ways with my day job and have been
Congrats.
grinding. Yeah, and it's huge because then it's like, well, what am I really made of? Because now it's really on you to set your own schedule. And yeah, it's great, but at the same time, that's a massive burden that you're putting it on yourself to hustle up your monthly nut every month forever from that point.
Yeah.
So it's on you to see how clever and creative you can be. Because the other thing is, you don't want to be working 24 hours a day, because then things are going to go wrong with your relationships and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's a really unique situation, and especially, being out here in Orange County, like the cost of living so high. When I took that on, I was like, this is just, I have to recognize that for the past however many years, this is what I've been working towards, and I'm not going to be scared. I'm going to push right for it. And when you have kids and a wife and all that and a house, like, it's a ton of pressure, but you can't run away from that. I accepted that a long time ago. So I've really been, sinking my teeth into it, and I've gone through so many different experiences, trying to grow my business and make myself more versatile and more useful, and trying to really get clever with generating multiple streams of revenue through my business for myself. And I set some goals at the top of the year, and I faced a bunch of obstacles that I hadn't faced before.
Yeah.
And now, coming into the end of the year, I feel like it was one of those situations where I put a lot on the line in terms of my time. And 6, 7, 8, 9 months into something that I hoped would work out, and it worked out. So I've had a couple of those kind of situations transpire just these past couple days. So I've come to realize those days only happen maybe once or twice a year if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So I kick back when they do, and I'm just like, thank God, man, because sometimes you need a break, and when it happens, it's just extra sweet.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I mean, you've been working your ass off, man. Like, I see what everybody does, everybody sees what everybody posts and shit, but I mean, you got people, like, don't you have a couple guys that work with you that are, like,
Yeah.
out there doing
Yeah.
shit? I mean,
Mhm.
besides Fighter and the Kid stuff and Rogan, like, you got the Dolce thing and Theo and Chris D'Elia, like,
Mhm.
and,
Yeah, man, it's-
and whoever else you got on the plate next, It's,
Yeah, yeah. It's really spiraling into something incredible. And as far as my clientele list, it's like when we talked last, and I was going over like my story in Buffalo, like, and coming out of that and trying to chase my dreams and stuff, like the people that are my clients now are the dudes that I was like looking up to back then. So it's surreal to be
Yeah.
as involved and as immersed, and being like 4 or 5 years into this now. I have a different perspective. I have such a unique experience in my professional career now that I just feel like I'm really, really poised right now for big, great things. And I'm trying to find the balance of just playing my role and just being a G about it, and just smashing everything in the mouth that gets sent my way. And
You got to,
I'm
man.
yeah, so I've just been weaving my web, and since we spoke last, yeah, it's these guys that I was taking little projects on for are all essentially like monthly recurring clients now, and I've been able to be involved in some incredible things in the comedy world and the fitness world, and creating my own product, my own online course, which I have some really exciting things going on with also. So it's all, and from my point of view as truly like a freelancer, it's getting enough clients to try to stand on your own too, and then being able to do that for a sustained amount of time, and then dwindling down to the clients that you're most passionate about, that you most want to work with, trying to get those down to 5, 6, 7 clients that are paying you enough that you can sustain and prosper and move forward in your life, and really be happy with your day in and day out stuff. So that's like my next step. And I'm always looking for opportunities to create products that can sell without any extra work being done to them. So digital products
Hell
that
yeah.
we can put up and then not do any extra work. So, because there's, I definitely at the beginning of the year, I hit the point where there just wasn't enough hours in the day, because, when we were speaking about this, I was going to do this, and then I implemented it, which was transferring from, okay, I have all these different services, what do you need, to kind of predefine packages. So 3 6-month deals where I'm defining these are what we're going to be accomplishing in these 3 months or in these 6 months, and it's predefined packages. So once I did that, right away my client list filled up, and which was exactly what I wanted. But then I faced a new problem of having to get through too many clients,
Yeah.
which seems like it'd be a great thing, but can be a huge problem.
Yeah, man.
So I had a couple months of trying to figure that out with the new baby and while not missing a beat with all my major clients. So within that, I've developed some great long-term new relationships, and like you mentioned with Theo and Mike Dolce and Rogan, and even Glory Kickboxing, Box and Burn, and a bunch of other different businesses. So I've learned a lot. I've really been leaning into trying to sharpen my sword in a lot of different areas, even aside from just graphic design, whether it be web design or advertising, or really my huge passion right now, and it's always been, but video design and getting, really, really getting good in Final Cut Pro has made my life a lot easier. So, it was a combination of all that, and by implementing more discipline into my daily routine and really, really creating policies for my own business and holding myself accountable for those policies is kind of what's allowed me to become really efficient in a state of having more clients than I'm used to. And of course, also delegating, as you mentioned, and building up my team, which is something that every business has to do in order to grow, and can be something scary and can take a lot of trial and error. But over the past year, I've been able to assemble a team that's really allowed me to delegate certain aspects of my life and my business to like a professional who's in-house, so that I can kind of get back to focusing on what I need to focus on.
Yeah.
So interns, I had an intern from Indiana State with me all summer. I have another intern with Arizona State or Arizona University, and I hired an illustrator and a financial manager. So this is me trying to delegate so that I can free up more time to push the business forward. But really, I really need probably 3 or 4 more designers, because I still primarily spend most of my time designing, and when in all actuality, I need to be spending 60% of my time getting out, reaching new people and marketing my business and pushing it forward. And the other, 25, 30% of my time dealing with my current clients and making sure everybody's happy and kind of just approving projects and quarterbacking. So I'm doing that now, but in 2019, I'm looking to keep increasing that and linking up with more colleges and schooling these dudes up, because it's worked out really well. And for somebody such as, my assistant designer, Eddie, it's great because he's so passionate about our clients, and he's a huge comedy fan, and he loves it. So it's like a dream come true for him that, we're collaborating on all these projects all the time. And for me, it's opened up this whole new door of having a fine artist on my team, so I can offer true illustration now. And it's making my skills better because I'm able to take his illustration and then do my thing with it, and we're able to collaborate and get crazy. So, and which is, like you mentioned with the Chris D'Elia piece, that was a collaboration between me and him. And, it's looking like we're going to be seeing that on Congratulations in the next couple episodes. So I'm excited about that.
A word? That's fucking...
Yeah.
That's cool shit, man. Especially when they appreciate you and they show off your shit,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of like the group, because there really is a group of comedians out there now, like Rogan's friends and shit. It should be there should be like a fucking comedy special with just like 10 people. But
incredible.
It's a different fucking day, man, and like there's like so many other people out there that have the ability to do what we do, and fucking share their own kind of ideas.
Totally.
And it's fucking nuts, man. Like 4 years ago, when me and you were like fucking, no, that was before we talked, but yeah, before that even, like, it was just a rarity, to see that kind of shit. But now it's like always in the feed, something from somebody. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really blossomed, and I'm honored by that. And I love seeing all these other artists that are kind of, doing similar things and making, and art inspired by the podcast and the comedians, and that's great. I love that. That pushes me, and it keeps me on my toes, and it gives me a different perspective. That it's like there's this whole community of artists that have kind of come up since I feel like I was lucky enough to kind of find the opportunity to be at the forefront of that in the very, very early days of it, and now it's it's the way the comedians promote their shows and promote their podcasts and whatever they have going on, their apparel and their merchandise. I feel like we were pretty incremental in those early days as far as Fighter and the Kid of setting a lot of that. So with that, I always like to keep it. I always want to be innovative, and I always want to push forward and offer more than anybody does. And as well as I like that, and I like other artists and stuff, I feel challenged. Anytime I see anything, I feel challenged because I know that there's people more talented than me out there. I know that there's people that can just sit around and spend months on one project and then put it up and it looks great. But it's the grittiness of the day in, day out, unrelentless, I'm going to get this to you, that I know is the equity that I've built up with them, the relationships with my clients, that even if somebody's more talented than me, they're not going to, over time, I feel like there's nobody out there that can put together the kind of track record that I have. So that's 4 or 5 years into this, as far as comedy in the podcast world goes, I feel I have some sort of sense of feeling good about that, at least, because I know on my personal checklist, like, I've been really accountable for these guys. And I feel like that's why I've been able to grow, one single relationship from me blowing up Callan's phone way back from my day job in Buffalo when Rogan first started to now. It's literally just been leveraging relationships and just shoving value in their face and showing up and showing up and showing up and not asking for anything and showing up day in and day out. And then, it feels like it's really starting to pay off.
I feel like it,
so
dude.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things that I've been like kind of struggling with, and I see why you started. See, back when we talked before, and you were mentioning how you were coming up with like a plan, like 3 months, 6 months. I understood what it was, but I wasn't like as busy as I am right now. So like I'm like, damn, maybe I should fucking do that, because it would be a lot easier for whoever I'm working with to just pay this, be done with it, and then I just provide everything that I said I was gonna do. Because I'm back to the point now where like I'm working with one podcast where I talk to her, the host, and she lets me know like who's on, what they did, like probably like you do with Fighter and the Kid, but I mean it's more intense, and I have to do like something specific instead of just me going off the fucking top of my head like I do with Joey all the time. So sure. It's a weird.
That can be a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah, I definitely Once in a while I end up having to, but it's true though. Like most of the time when I get back like a thing that says, this poster is kind of out there or something like that, like I'm like, all right, I get you. You got to get what you paid for, so I'm gonna fucking I'm gonna do it again. It's no big deal,
sure.
But it's like
the biggest piece of advice I can give you in that regard is the kind of and it really goes back to thinking of yourself as a business and setting policies. Because people like to know where you stand right away. They don't want you to be necessarily making up the rules on the fly. So if you set, an expectation for them right away, it could be some up and coming person that may not be paying you that much. But if you don't set the expectation for them right away, she might be thinking that you're going to do same day turnaround and whatever. And then, as she's kind of expecting this, you're kind of getting salty and you're not really trying that much. And you're like, she's not even paying me that much. But meanwhile, she doesn't realize you're even thinking that. So, what I like to do, especially in the early stages of a relationship, I'll front load the value a little bit, depending who it is. But at the same time, by setting the expectations of, my time is valuable. You're not my only client. This is my initial turnaround time. If you're expecting same day, next day turnaround time, that's definitely going to be extra, as it would be with any other designer out there. Because when people, unless, it's a scheduled thing where I know every Wednesday night you're going to do this and I'm going to kick this back to you, people have to know that when they place a design request, unless they're your number one client, they're not going right to the top of the queue. There's other projects ahead of you. So that's why I keep it standard. And I give myself more than enough time. So I always tell people average turnaround time on initial samples is 5 to 7 business days because I know we're going to clear it within then, and it's reasonable. And then 1 to 3, 2 to 3 business days on revision rounds. They're out from the point of feedback.
Wow.
So my suggestion is just be firm with value your time, because being a designer, it's so easy when you start bending over backwards to stop valuing your time, stop valuing how much it's worth, stop be willing to pull all-nighters and all that.
Yeah.
And you just got to kind of pick and choose those people, because if you let people will beat you to death with whatever you let them, no matter who they are. So, you got to kind of judge them for what they're worth, and just keep in mind it's a business and you're keeping your relationships going, but at the same time, you're balancing the family and the bills, and you're keeping the monthly nut in mind. So it's a delicate balance of all that. And I have clients that are like that, like, for instance, for Theo. For Theo, it's a little bit easier because with his podcast, they're template based. So it's the same thing every time. I go in, I cut the photo out, I change out the information, I triple check it, I do whatever needs to be done. I can generally do it rather quickly. Whereas with the Fighter and the Kid graphics, they're completely conceptual. I have to find the concept, I have to listen to the podcast, see if there's anything. I have to sit through hours of, there's a lot more that goes into it, but I know that. So we have that expectation, so I can plan for it. And I'm being compensated for that. So I'm comfortable with that. I'm not miserable while I'm doing it. I'm not being passive aggressive or salty. So, those are good clients, and those are good arrangements that you can fall into long term. Because people that are coming to you for 1, 2 things, they're around for 1 or 2 months, like, that's cool. But really, we want the comfortability of knowing that we're coming into the month at or near our monthly nut. That's ideal. If we can come into the month at our monthly nut, then anything we make over that is bonus. So,
Yeah.
And how these clients fit into that equation is, how important they are. So, we have the luxury of dealing with people that have massive followings, and to kind of grow our business through that community. So if we're good at that, hopefully, we can reach lots of people, and with good judgment, pick out, form relationships with the people that we kind of jive best with in that regard.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. I've gotten a shitload of people asking me for shit. I sent a couple to you, the pants guys, because I actually got I got a new laptop, because the one that I used before when I talked to you was my girlfriend's. I got a new one that's mine, and I got Affinity on it, and
Nice.
I'm gonna fucking try and learn that shit. Now that I got this though, I'm like playing with it. I got one of those, what are those, Wacom little tap things for the pen. So I mean, that's cool too. But dude, just from doing everything on my phone all this time, and still am, like, I haven't really gone over to Affinity and used that for any of the designs yet. I want to get a fucking iPad Pro, because they got the Affinity app on that. They don't have it on. They don't have it on your phone or like the regular iPad. You have to have the iPad Pro.
Yeah,
Like,
I saw
fuck,
that.
man.
It's either way, it's gonna suck. Either way, it's gonna take a couple months before you really feel comfortable on it. But once you do, it will forever be so worth it.
Yeah, man. I've been watching so many videos, so I'm kind of like I'm getting used to all the tools and all that kind of shit and how they work. So I'm just excited about the vector stuff, man, because I've gone back and forth. I went back and forth with fucking Joey's wife one time, like a year ago, about making a couple T-shirts for him. But at that time, I don't know. I made the design up, but we never went forward with it. But it wasn't a vector one, So I didn't really try to like push it or anything. But once I get that shit down, dude, it's fucking done.
It's really hard. It's really hard to understand. And this was actually a portion of my new online course that I just released, because it is so hard to understand. But it's so important for you as the designer and for the client to understand what the word vector means.
Yeah.
Because if you want to have a logo, or if you want to have any sort of print material, you need vector files. And oftentimes I see when people buy logos, or they go on Fiverr or whatever, they just walk away with the JPEG image, and it's just so limited.
Or a PNG that's like real choppy,
So the basic understanding is that a JPEG or a PNG is comprised of pixels, so it can't be scaled up or down without some sort of image resolution being sacrificed. It's going to look blocky. But with the vector imagery, It's more of a mathematical equation where depending on the size of it, the color's gonna appear there.
Yeah.
So it can scale up or down, and it's such a huge asset to have. And once you can really develop an understanding of how to drive the two together, it should be one program. It's annoying that it's not, but in the instance of Illustrator and Photoshop, when you're able to get those driving together and understanding, like, it just makes you so much more powerful to be like, to have the understanding that, oh, I want some really clean lines, like I can go into Illustrator and then go back and forth.
Yeah.
And then when you throw video editing software like Final Cut Pro or Premiere and After Effects into the mix, it really makes you much more powerful also.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in what you're able to kind of like have at your disposal, have at your fingertips when you're proposed with a project. It's always better to have, more ammo in your arsenal because it's going to make your life easier. I spent so much time in my early days trying to figure out, like, man, how did they get those clean lines? Or like, how would I even get an image that big? Well, how big would that file be? But
Yeah.
it's so much bumping your head and going back and forth with printers, and then you finally get it. So it's confusing to everybody, and I've spent a ton of time trying to explain this stuff to people. But yeah, the difference between raster and vector in the design world and as it applies to business owners is huge.
Very huge. Well, talk about that. Business Building 101. That's your online
Yeah.
course that you're doing.
Yeah.
Your smart
Yeah.
setup guide. Is that the same thing or is it different?
Yeah, so the Smart Setup Guide really is a brand name where I can release any kind of online course under it. Business Building 101 is the first course. So
Cool.
this is a project that I've been working on essentially all year. And I knew that coming out of college in my exit interview from Full Sail, and I was talking to the guy, I was already knee deep in my career by the time I graduated, which is unique. So I'm breaking this down to the counselor, and he's like, would be a really great teacher. You should think about teaching this stuff. And when he said that, I was like, yeah. And then as I developed more of an understanding of digital products and how, like, what's my digital product going to be? I need something. I had this vision in my mind. I'm like, it's going to be so much work. I can't imagine how I'm going to do this on top of managing all my projects and stuff that I have. But I just pushed forward on it. So it was a lot of, the first time you do anything is tough. Writing out a whole course, figuring out what it's going to be, filming it, editing it, creating the website, and even publishing an online course in itself is very challenging. How am I going to build a site where people can log in and view the course and track their progress and not be able to share their password with somebody and pay me different options? Like,
Yeah. Wow.
there's so much troubleshooting that goes into it. So I just accepted that, and I knew that it was going to be a lot of time up front. So I put in that time, and it was a lot. And I'm really so proud that I didn't rush it. I didn't rush any of it. I did it as if there was some psychopath looking over my shoulder the whole time that was critiquing pixel by pixel. So I'm really confident with it as a product. But what I wanted even more was, and it kind of just happened with good timing, like, it was done end of November. The site is up. smartsetupguide.com. The courses are up. It's been tested. It's good. It's up by, late November. And I was like, all right, well, how am I going to sell this now? Because, I have somewhat of a social reach. It's not huge. I can run sponsored campaigns. I can get some sales going, but it's going to be relatively kind of probably a slow drip. But I'm in the unique space of Christmas coming. And it makes a great gift. You can give somebody this, you can gift an entrepreneur in your life this course, and it's a really cool, unique gift. So I'm like, I've spent all this time. My wife's looking at me crazy. I need to really come out of the gate super strong to make this all have been worth it. And I'm like, just trust me. I'm gonna figure this out. So
Yeah, man, it's gonna work itself out, dude. You put a lot into this shit. I didn't realize it was a whole entire, like you said, it's an online course, but I didn't realize it was a whole fucking course. I'm gonna take this shit.
Well, it's 6 videos, and it's not just me talking. It's visuals. It's very produced. There's visuals that go along with everything that I'm saying. It's downloadable assets and resources that I use, and we break down 6 based on, I speak to people, business owners of all different industries, all over the world, all the time. And I've honed down a course of action that I found that applies to everyone as far as getting up and getting running quickly and cost efficiently. Because a lot of people have a good business idea or idea for a service or a product, but they don't know where to start, or they start wasting money and they get frustrated in trying to get up and get an online presence. I talk to these people so often.
Yeah.
So
I might be one of them.
well, most people are. The luxury that I have is a lot of this information that I'm kind of putting out to people is that a lot of people still don't know about it, especially in terms of social media marketing and retargeting, and how to, even for somebody who's not that computer savvy, how they can build a really super awesome website for, not a lot of money, and have it be really super responsive on any device and pop up on Google when you want it to. The stuff that really matters, what you need, what you should be getting when you order a logo, everything that goes into that, how to easily and quickly get your own apparel line, all my different experiences from, I probably have 30 different accounts in my ad manager, and I'm constantly running these different ads, and I'm putting everything together, and I have probably a 30 different websites in my site editor. So it's like, I'm giving people a streamlined path and a streamlined course of action with this. And, a lot, like, I feel like I'm kind of giving away a lot of my secret sauce with it. But at the same time, people need to focus on what it is that they do best. So I'm breaking this down so that you understand what needs to be done, so that you can take it on yourself, or you can choose to delegate it to a professional. But the fact that we have these tools available to us, that we can retarget ads to people that visit our site and engage with us on social media. And there's this whole science to making your advertising dollars really, really stretch. And we sell out theaters and comedy clubs across the world on not very big budgets, just by effectively using the system. And I've taken those principles and put together a plan that any business can apply to, and start generating momentum. Not every business is a good idea. Not every business has strong leverage points, but these are the modern era's fundamentals of how to be smart and start making money online. Is the Smart Setup Guide. And the exciting news about it, the point of the whole story, is that in the next couple of days, you're going to see that I'm collaborating with Theo Vaughn, and he's going to be the official sponsor for the Smart Setup Guide.
No
Business
shit.
101. Yeah, for the month of December. So we're going to smash them for, the holiday gift. And
Yeah.
it's going to be badass, man. So I've been working on all the graphics all day. I got videos. And Theo is just such a great fucking dude, and he really wants to help people. And he just genuinely, like, he puts it out there on his podcast. He goes into his childhood and his mom and his parents and his addictions and his feelings and all that. And talking to him on the phone, he's really that dude, and he wants ambitious people to have this resource, and he believes in it, and that makes me feel really good. Yeah. So the fact that I put in all that work and came out, and it actually, I was able to make that happen, feels phenomenal. And then
that's incredible, man. Congrats, dude. That is awesome as fuck, dude.
Yeah. So that was some Shark Tank style shit that I was, excited to put together. And I've done it before. I'll put together a whole business plan without even letting the person know. Get the business off the ground and then present it to them. Here it is. It's all done. It's all gift wrapped. Here's an opportunity for you.
Yeah, dude.
I
know, man. That's dude, with I'm still running fucking Joey's page on Instagram, and it's like up to 600 and some thousand fucking followers now, man.
Yeah, it's wild.
Like that's a big gift right there.
Yeah.
I'm waiting, dude. I'm waiting for him to like be ready to like take it over or something. It's got quite a few thousand more followers than his Twitter does at this point.
You're in no danger, cocksucker.
I'm in no fucking danger. Yeah, he's cool with it. He definitely fucking gets me the shit that he wants to get out. And then he just lets me funny. Fucking try to fucking do the rest. But it's fun, man. It's a crazy right now. It's been a crazy side job.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because it never stops. That's what I love about this. In the comedy world, like the episodes are
Oh,
never stopping, the live dates are never stopping. They're just gonna keep on coming. So it's a steady stream, and especially with Joey, with all the content he puts out, like with the Periscope and everything, that's beautiful, and that's a great credential to have for you, moving forward.
fuck yeah, dude. I'm still. I know. I'm just a lucky fuck that is keeping it going somehow. But it's working, dude, and it's fun. It's definitely worth it.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, when timing meets hard work, that's when opportunities form. So,
Yes, you
like
told me that before.
it's true. I was breaking. We had family in town the other day, and I was breaking down the story of like how I even got with the fighter and the kid. And sometimes it's just a moment of inspiration. If you get lucky, the timing's right, you
Hmm.
get inspired, trust your gut, bam, that can change your life forever. I've had that happen a few times. I can kind of sense it now. But that happened for you, and the consistency is what is really matters, because I've seen people come and go. I'm the only one that's really even part of the original team as far as Fighter and the Kid goes. Me and Jay Schaub, like we're the original,
Yeah.
background. So like, and I've seen how people move and in all facets of business. So like, it was cool. I knew, like, for instance, with Brendan, like he's such a master at parlaying. It's been so incredible to work with him and watch him parlay from one thing into another, into another, into another. And I'm like,
Yeah.
the next thing, all that's left is you're gonna be singing halftime at the Super Bowl next. That's all that's left. I don't know.
He's gonna
I
play
don't
with
know
the
what
Foo
else.
Fighters.
But yeah, having him, throughout this whole process, get involved with so many big businesses and companies and stuff, like it was cool because he always still keeps me completely involved in all of it, because dealing with people, most people aren't reliable. Even the ones that work at big companies, a lot of people aren't all that
Yeah.
dedicated and reliable, even in the short term.
Hmm.
So like I said, I feel like that's my greatest strength is the dedication, the problem solving, even way over any design skills I might have or creative inclinations. 4 or 5 years into this aspect of my career, I kind of attribute it to that for sure.
Yeah, man. You just keep fucking going, and that's all you can do, really. Like you were talking about with the videos and stuff. That's what you really you love, and you want to get into more and do more of. Um,
Hmm.
I see that shit, dude. I want to fucking do it too. The After Effects has
Hmm.
some crazy shit, man, on there. Like, and
Yeah,
you could do some stuff with your phone, but not totally at all.
it's
You
not
can
the
only get
same
away
world at
with a
all.
certain
Yeah,
amount of shit.
no, yeah, no,
And
it's not the same thing.
I just see myself. I see the work coming. I
Hmm.
already know that I want to, and I'm trying to stay awake every night and try to, besides do the work, but like sit here and learn this affinity program. There's a couple other
Hmm.
things that I want to learn how to do, and it you almost inspire yourself after a
Hmm.
while, but
Yeah, absolutely.
you have working in this field, I guess you can call
Hmm.
it. All these
Hmm.
comedians, they do inspire you, like on a
Hmm.
personal level and the
Hmm.
funny, humorous level.
Hmm. Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
it's not like
absolutely.
you have a shortage of that there, but
Hmm.
just to be
Yeah.
able to do more and more cool things
Hmm.
for them
Yeah,
is it's
yeah,
fun and
totally.
exciting.
Hmm. Yeah, and for the guys that I'm with, like I really get that. I mean, even just looking at like Brennan and Brian, how they move, all their different endeavors, and all these guys, that juices me up because we're all part of the same team. So it's like
Yeah.
every time something great happens, I'm like, it's possible. These guys are out here doing it. This is the back when I lived in New York, you can look around at the five people that you talk to the most or that you're around the most, and you can really relate to those people. And I knew that back then. And now it's like I look at the 4 or 5 people that I talk to, communicate with the most, and it's like, damn, these are people that I really respect, and these are people that are really out here getting after it.
Yeah.
Like that are way above my level. So I'm lucky. I feel privileged to even be a part of it. And even like going like, recently I was able to go and with Callan and meet with the people producing his comedy special, be a part of all that. And
Nice.
and that see him, behind the scenes, all that, and just kind of represent him on that level. Like I'm here representing him. That makes me feel good. Makes me, even more enthusiastic about what I do.
Yeah.
And yeah, and man, his new special is hilarious too. By the way, we just did the trailer. I
Yeah.
turned the trailer around in one day,
Nice.
which was, man, it was. Hey, we're having this meeting, and I'm like, I haven't even seen the special yet, by the way. And he's like, oh, all right, well, it's Wednesday. We need it Friday. All right, cool. And I like that because it's a big company producing his special, and they do this obviously professionally. They do all these huge specials.
Yeah.
And they gave me their version of the trailer that they had come up with. They didn't have any deadline or anything, and I was like, oh, okay. All right. I wasn't that impressed by it. So then I watched the special, and I'm like, they're trying to be so safe. They're trying to be so safe with the bits that they picked
For
here.
the trailer.
I'm like, yeah, and that's cool. It's good to have a safe version, but it gave me the luxury of being like, I can just go for the funniest version,
Yeah.
which is always best.
Yeah. The
So-
dirty version, you know?
Yeah,
The internet
exactly.
version.
So I went for what I knew the fans would like the most and what's going to really make people laugh. And I was like, we're going for the laughs, right? Yes. Okay. We're going for the laughs. It's on the special. This shit is on the special. So I
Yeah.
feel really great about it. I have what's been a huge asset for me is I have a music producer in house now too.
No
So I
shit.
have my own original music that I can pick from. So right away I get the music going. I'm watching the special. I'm taking notes. I take meticulous notes of I break down the whole special 2 times through, 2 hours. Look over, my son's got the Sharpie to the notes. All the notes look like they got gang bang graffiti all over them. So
Shit.
that's another part. Look forward to that.
Oh yeah.
So then
He hasn't gotten into that
get
shit
that
yet.
going, and yeah, luckily we were able to hammer it out, and I was so happy with how the trailer came out and the poster, the artwork for it.
Awesome.
Which we did.
What's it airing on?
It's airing on essentially everything except for Netflix. So anything that you could imagine, the Google Plays is going to be on the homepage of iTunes. I don't even know. There's a list of a million places where it's coming out, but
Awesome.
they're handling all that. And I think it's a really great deal for Brian. I'm super excited for him. He's got his new TV show coming out. He's shooting the new thing at Gold. He's filming movies. We're working on his new podcast, his solo podcast coming out. So he's got a ton of cool things going on.
That's fucking awesome, dude. That's cool as shit, dude. Working with trailers and stuff. I got a chance to kind of a little bit with Joey's Degenerate one. He sent me a link to like the special before it was edited. Like it didn't even have like a filter on it or anything. So I watched it a couple times before it came out, and I was like thinking to myself, are they going to send me a trailer or not? Like he eventually did send like 5 or 6 videos that were like just cut. They were just clips from the thing. It wasn't even like a trailer like put together. I had to add all the logos and all that shit on top of it.
Yeah,
and this was Netflix. But but
Seriously?
I eventually dude. I was like, what the fuck? He actually sent me the link and then shared the link to the videos on Twitter. I was like, what are you doing, dude? I was like, that wasn't supposed to be but anyway. So I took a couple things from the original one that he sent me, and I had to like crop it because it had like the rotten whatever like logo on it, you know.
Yeah.
So and then I put it together and I showed it to him, and I was like, I don't know if they sent you anything, but I made this for you. he's like, I'll just let Netflix do their thing. And then that morning when he was on Rogan's, I messaged Rogan the video. I was like, hey man, I don't know if they did anything, but I made this for him. And he just replied, can you email it to me? So he shared it. I was like,
Nice.
fuck it. You know?
Nice.
But yeah,
That's awesome.
It's crazy how like I don't know, maybe because it was like a whole, you know, it was like a bunch of comedians together, so they didn't really have, they just made the one trailer because they did that whole, the dude that fucking filmed it, he did a whole bunch of shit, the Ari Shafir, the This Is Not Happening show, and something else, but
yeah,
Yeah.
I think maybe they're relying on that production company to handle a lot of that stuff. I feel like Netflix is like, maybe just a little bit too oversaturated, and there's
Yeah.
too much going on, and it's like kind of on the company that made it. They just bought the final special. I don't really know how that works,
Yeah,
but
I don't fucking know. They got like 40 some specials coming out in one day next year or some shit. I
yeah,
heard.
it's too much. I feel like these comedians are going to get better deals soon, but or they already are. I already see it happening because, like, the big thing with Netflix is the exposure. But I don't know. There's so many specials on there. They cut you one check, whereas these other companies are going to cut you residual checks forever based on how people watch your special, and they're going to go for the long-term plan. So
Yeah.
it's like, what are we doing? It's like, yeah, it's cool to say you're on Netflix and you'll get a check, but it's not going to be something that, a year or two from now, you're still going to be getting paid from.
Yeah, because even he's told me that they don't tell you like the numbers and shit on Netflix. It's not like they
Hmm.
do, like you said, they just pay you one check. I would
Hmm.
make sure, like, that's probably why like people do it and they just sell it themselves so that eventually maybe it gets picked up by Amazon Prime or something like that. They could still
Hmm.
sell it on the side, you know.
Hmm. Well, I think
It's a
for
good idea.
comedians too, it's just the fact of saying, like, as seen on Netflix, especially when they go into
Yeah,
live shows in a city, like, that's a huge credential.
yeah.
But maybe in 5 years, not so much. I don't know. I see cracks in that wall. I see that model. I don't know. I don't know.
We'll
But
see what happens, man. There's a
it
lot of
worked good
shit
for
going
Rogan's
on, dude.
special. Yeah, man, I really enjoyed the Chappelle special. I really enjoyed Joe's last special. I thought that was his
Yeah,
funniest one in a really long time.
yeah,
The energy was there. I got to see him perform. I think two two shows before he recorded. He performed in Irvine, and I was like, wow, that's him right there. That's
yeah.
like I remember when I first saw him back on the Shiny Happy Jihad or whatever one where he was talking about dousing the Middle East with chronic smoke and all that.
Yeah.
I was laughing like that, at his latest one. So,
Yeah, it was
I was really
great,
happy
man.
to
I
see.
got to see him. Him and Diaz came the same. He was here Thursday and Diaz was here Friday, and I went to see both of them. It's
Nice,
fucking nice, dude.
nice. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. That's one of the big perks of being out here. Coming up this month, yeah, we got. I'm going to be seeing Callan this month at the Irvine Improv, Theo at the Irvine Improv. Brennan's filming his special down in San Diego same weekend. So it's going to be
That's awesome.
busy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's very cool,
yeah.
man. And it's been picking up around here more a lot too, dude. I've seen so many more people besides Joey, like and Rogan, like a lot more like
Mhm.
Segura and fucking Kreischer and shit. They come around pretty fucking often to like Philly and New York, so
Mhm.
it's kind of
Mhm.
cool to be able to get to see them, but like it would be nicer to be a little bit just closer out there,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
where they reside. But fuck that fire shit. That shit didn't come
Mhm.
down near you, right?
Yeah, it did, and it's terrifying. It really
Yeah.
is. Yeah, it hit just south of us and then just north of us. So
Damn, dude.
it's not fun. Yeah, it's not cool at all. And the one that hit just south of us was actually arson. This fucking crazy asshole set his cabin on fire while he was feuding with his neighbors.
What?
And then this giant forest is engulfed in flames.
Holy shit.
And yeah, from my driveway, the sky was just glowing orange. There's ash falling, clouds of
What?
smoke.
That was the
Like
campfire one that they called it or something.
it was called the Holy Fire.
Oh, the whole yeah. Okay.
And then there's just, I really the fire thing really bothers me. And just like there's always these warnings of like these, we're gonna relocate this homeless encampment to the middle of this forest and let's hope they don't burn it down. Or there's
What?
just always this, yeah, it's like a real issue. There's always this pending thing now. And I wasn't even aware of this before I moved here. Totally. Like I remember when I first flew to California for the first time, if you remember, I think we went over this last time,
Yeah.
and I was, first time ever out here, and I'm looking off in the distance, and clouds of smoke over the mountains in the distance, and I'm like, what? Do people realize there's a fire over there? And they're just like, yeah, no, it's fine, it's normal. But like I knew that, but I didn't realize how real it was and how real the threat is that people just wake up and they're surrounded by flames. It's terrifying.
Yeah, man.
So, half of Bel Air burnt down last year. The Calabasas burnt down this year. I don't know, man. I'm
I'm
not
glad
really.
you're all right. You and the family all right.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
we're
not
good,
cool,
man.
man.
Yeah, we're good here. We've since we spoke last, man, we've just hit so many milestones as far as our life here in Orange County and how our kids are growing up and everything, and our house and our neighborhood is beautiful. But the fires really bother me, and the outrageous cost of trying to buy a house really bothers me.
Yeah.
Because for an area that's so fire prone, it's like, what are we talking about? If you spend anything less than $1 million, you're basically going to get like a single family condo. So
Wow.
it's ridiculous. And my wife's in the real estate industry, so I'm really immersed in it. And
Is it? I guess it gets more expensive as you go north,
it
like towards
varies.
LA and shit.
Yeah, well, LA is ridiculous. The whole thing, everywhere from north, from the valley down to San Diego is ridiculous. So you really can't. But where we want to be, that good Orange County living that we're enjoying here, we've kind of, it's interesting. I'm coming into a new chapter here because, and this is something that you and your family is going through too, because we have that chapter of like dreaming and planning, and there's
Yeah.
years of that, and we're grinding, and it's freezing, and we're doing all that, and then okay, then you make that big leap, and now there's years of, okay, we're starting a new life, and we're building and we're building and we're building, and then after a couple of years of that, you reach a new plateau, and it's like, okay, now we really want to set down roots, and the next place we move to, we want to be at for 10, 15 years, where our kids can really grow up at, and we can own, and it's going to be a good buy, and it's going to appreciate in value. So we're in that space now, and I don't know if it's going to be California.
Yeah.
So what was once this when I from my younger mind state, this kind of dream that I have, it's really cool to kind of realize that I'm in a different space in life and be like, yeah, this is really cool. But at the same time, there's other options out there, and what's going to be really smart and what's going to be best long term. So, we're keeping our options open, and Austin, Texas is starting to look real nice.
Dude, you could do it from anywhere, brother.
And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. I have some pretty great connections down in Austin that on it, and in that whole circle. And I've just been looking into it. It looks like an amazing place, and for a third of what you would pay here, you can get the exact same house there in a similar place. So we'll see. I'm just I found that I'll put my curiosity out there. I'll think, put my best intention out there, then put my head down and work, and it'll kind of work itself out. But, the fires suck. I couldn't imagine a fire in conjunction with an earthquake or a tsunami or something. There's too many people here. There's too many people here. And if something were to happen, the idea of everybody trying to take the same 3 or 4 freeways east is scary. And you ride around, and like there'll be areas that are just charred black, like black. The hills are all black because they were on fire not that long ago.
That's so crazy, man. I can't even imagine. I mean, I heard about like a lot of people just experiencing like smoke and stuff that didn't see fire. You were fucking seeing glowing fucking orange and shit.
Yeah, it was creepy, and it was like that for like a week. And my family had flown back to Buffalo, so I was here by myself trying to film the Smart Setup Guide. I was like, okay, they're gonna go. Now, mind you, I hadn't gone back to Buffalo in 5 years. My wife and kids go back every year.
Really?
They've always back, yeah. And I'm just like, I couldn't bring myself to it. I was always just I had too much going on, and I didn't want to. So 5 years, 5 years. I knew I needed 5 years, so they were gonna go for a week, and then I was gonna get this setup guide done. And then I was going to go for a week with them and then come back. And, man, the whole time I was here, man, I'm in my office just kind of looking out the window, just, like, waiting. I was calling the sheriff's department, like, am I going to get a text? How does this work? How
do I get evacuated here?
Yeah, I didn't know how that goes. This isn't a thing that I didn't even know was a thing. So, it was right on the point where I almost had to evacuate, but the fire shifted and went east instead of north. And I didn't, but I was really super distracted, and it was not a good feeling. It really turned me off. So, that was interesting. But yeah, needless to say, I did not get the Smart Setup Guide recorded in that time frame. I went to Buffalo and came back and did it without the threat of fucking fire coming into my neighborhood.
Well, it was meant to be not the fire, but
Yeah,
you know, for
yeah.
you to get it out at this
It
time,
was.
man.
It was because it was such an experience going back to Buffalo after having come out here and accomplished so much and going around and riding the streets with my kids, my who weren't even alive when I left.
Yeah.
It just like showing them, it was surreal. It was really, really weird. And it was a really weird, cool feeling um, to go back and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was really worried. I was worried, like I had nightmares I was gonna get, like I'm not gonna be able to come back. Something's gonna happen. I'm gonna get trapped there. It's gonna be August and I'm gonna get snowed in. I'm not gonna be able to, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Your fucking friends are gonna be like, "Yo, dude, what's up with rapping on some shit? Like,
Yeah.
let's get back into music, man."
Yeah. Something. But yeah, it was all right. And I'm looking forward to going back again. But it was really surreal going back and put a lot of things in perspective for me. So when I came back and it was time to sit down and finish writing and record all this stuff, I feel like I was in a much better place to do it. Having gone through all that.
That's
so
good, because this shit's gonna last forever. Like,
yeah,
this course, yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
until technology moves forward.
Yeah. But that's the beauty. That's what I really like about the idea of it being a brand, because it's not limited to just one course. We could turn around and right away, I could turn around and do a graphic design specific course, or me and my boy Nick, who's Theo's producer, we could put together a how to podcast produce course and release it right up under the same site, the same brand. It's just a new course. So not to say that I'm going to invest all my time and energy into that moving forward, but it's cool to have a new business that's not Drastic Graphics and a new brand and something separate that kind of is standing on its own.
Hell yeah, man. And for you to like be able to offer that and see what it's gonna produce, because this is brand fucking new.
Yeah.
Can you just imagine a year from now,
Mhm.
if we're talking and you have like a whole bunch of people that have, gone on to do things with what you've provided.
That's
gonna
really
be cool.
incredible. That's what will really, make it worth it once it goes that far and people have actually implemented this stuff. And that's where my soul will really feel good about it. Because, honestly, like we're talking about Rogan, that's really what he did for me and for people that, so many people that he's not even aware of, is just kind of plant those thoughts, plant that information, plant that inspiration. And now, like I've told him this, like I am of the cloth of the first wave of dudes that was influenced by you. And now, like, I've transformed my life and you're my client. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking weird, dude.
It's weird.
Dude.
And you don't even know. They don't even know. They don't even know the half of it.
Yeah,
so
that's why I try to not fucking fanboy out on either of him or Diaz whenever I talk to him, because it's hard not to, but it is a really fucking cool feeling to know that you could just pull out your fucking phone and contact them if you needed to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
After all the hours that we've listened to them and shit before we even work with it, it's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, and to be a part of, to comedically even be a part of the visuals is something that I'm so proud of and something that I never take for granted, and I really always try my best and never take a project off and always try to make the fans laugh. And I always think about, people laughing when the stuff gets posted up, and it's never something that I overlook, is however many years deep we get into it.
Yeah, man. Well, dude,
For sure.
Keep fucking killing it, man. Thank you for taking an hour of your time, man. It's a pleasure to fucking catch up, and thank you so much for all your fucking knowledge from before and this one, dude. I'm gonna have to go back again and fucking re-listen to this shit. But it's true, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I like getting on here and thinking out my thoughts, because I'm a lone wolf out here. I don't get to talk all this out all the time. So,
dude, and anytime you want to fucking
good.
do this, fucking let me know. Or if you just want to fucking talk, man, I'm fucking down. Well, we're both up all hours of the night, so.
Yeah, man. Well, the next time, I think One by One podcast needs video. Is my suggestion.
Dude, I know. I just that's my next Actually, I think I might have to ask my girl to get me the smart setup guy for Christmas. Cause fucking hey, dude, you probably have some shit on there that would let me, or inform me on how to fucking. That's my problem. I just don't have right now. I just don't have like that little tiny bit of extra time to look into how to record Skype, audio and video on my phone. It's just. But I do have a laptop now with at least a terabyte, and plus I have a hard drive, so I could pull it off. Some people are just doing it like a live thing right to YouTube, but I'd have to figure out the whole graphic and how to make that happen. So maybe you can help me out with that.
Yeah, man. Of course, absolutely.
All right, brother. Well, thank you very much. Have a fucking wonderful holiday. And you're at Drastic Graphics on Instagram. What is it on Twitter again? I know you're not on there as much, but it's a little different, right?
Yeah, it's drastic_graphics on Twitter, drasticgraphics.com, smartsetupguide.com. I'm here for anybody that's listening that has any questions. You can always feel to DM me, email me. I get back to everybody. And, again, I really appreciate you having me on and letting me voice all this.
Dude, it's my fucking pleasure, man. Thank you very much, man.
Cool. All right, Mike, I appreciate you. We'll do this again soon.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
All right, thanks. Yep, bye.